Hi, my name is Samantha Payne, and this is my biggest challenge video for the MIT885 practicum. Finally here at the end, and we were asked, what is your biggest challenge going forward as far as your current role or future role, or what you're kind of seeing now that you've completed this master's program. And at the end of my comp, I had an answer, and then I went to a tech meeting here at our school in our district, and I think my answer's changed, and so I want to update you on that. So last spring, we were tasked with evaluating the proper tool that should be used at the high school level. So a little history. This is our 8th year. We are one-to-one iPads at the high school, and as of this year, they are rolling out K through 8 one-to-one iPads as well. And so the board asked a committee of people to get together and look at, should we be changing devices, looking and seeing, is the iPad the best fit for the high school level? And so last spring, we did several meetings, surveys, that sort of thing, weighed the cost options of what would happen if we took out all the iPad infrastructure and put in, a Chromebook, for example, or piloting a Chromebook, Apple MacBook, PC, and then sticking with the iPad. And then last night, we had a meeting that kind of evaluated that. And at the end of the meetings last spring, I was in the boat of, I don't know if we need a new device. A device is just a device. It's how the teachers use it, and maybe we need to put some money and time into some hefty professional development, because that is one thing that is really lacking in our district. It's just, there's a lot of board initiatives. The list is this big, and there's only this much in-service time. It's what is the priority of the district. And so I was in the boat of, we need to make technology PD a priority. And then I went, after kind of going through some of the things on this class, getting to tour. I was at K-State last week, getting to tour their sports marketing program and seeing what are college kids using, and seeing one iPad, and it was an iPad Pro. Otherwise, it was a PC, Apple, or Chromebook filled classroom, and kind of wondering what is going to be best suited for our kids post-secondary. And I think now my biggest challenge would be, after this meeting, I'm finding change is hard, and so the biggest challenge being finding ways to convince a tech department that is very set in their ways that maybe we do need to be evaluating other options, and then also convincing them that the tech PD is imperative every single year. We have a high turnover in our district, and so looking at adding more professional development into the in-service time and making that a priority, and making that a valuable time for the teachers as well. Not only a sit and get, but also a time for them to actually put into practice what they are getting. And an interesting question was raised in our comp last night is, should we maybe look at having some back-end stuff done before the in-service? Like, hey, teachers, have this prepared, and then in this in-service time, you'll have time to work on it. And I think that's a lot of, sometimes where we're missing some steps with our in-service. So I would say in summary, the biggest challenge being convincing a tech committee or a tech department that technology in service time is very, very important. That if we are being asked to use whatever device it ends up being, it needs to be something that is valuable for all teachers, and they're going to find value in it. And that's the problem. Teachers aren't finding value in it because they aren't given much instruction. And one of the articles I read for the article summary said, self-efficacy in technology. And so just in summary, it said, the research has always said when millennials got to the role of being a teacher, that technology use would come very easy to them because they're used to using devices. However, now the research is showing that just because a millennial was born with the device in their hand, so to say, they aren't necessarily comfortable using it in the public setting or in the classroom setting, because using it and teaching with it are two very, very different things. And so so my audience, I guess I should backtrack, my audience for this would be the teachers and also the district and the board getting their attention with this as far as when they plan the in-service time. The ISTE standards, I pulled one specific one from the educators ISTE standards, and that would be standard 2B, which talks about advocating for equitable access. And again, devices should vary based on the need of the student. I have no arguments that the assistive technology that goes with using an iPad for a special education room is second to none, but some of the other students may benefit from using an actual computer. And then the other ones, looking at from the coach's side and actually using the 2019, the new standards that ISTE just put out, looking at ISTE Coaches Standard 3D, and that is just making effective use of the technology, and that would be coming in on the in-service side. And then also ISTE Standard Coaches 4C, and that looks at environment accommodations for learner variability, and that goes back to the E2B one, where we just want to make sure we're using the right device for our students that's going to truly prepare them for post-secondary success. I hope that you guys enjoyed this class. I enjoyed it a lot. I said in my transparency reflection that, much like student teaching, this is always usually the last class is usually the best class you'll ever take, just because it's putting into practice what we've learned for however long it took you or myself to get this master's. That always is the best, is at the end when we get to actually apply it and get some feedback on applying it and going from there. Have a great day, and I hope to see some of you guys at graduation.